By age 30, Adam Gaunt realized that his life was becoming a vicious cycle. He'd been released from prison in 2004, but unfortunately landed himself back into prison by February of 2006. Now this vicious cycle is referred to as recidivism. Recidivism is the act of an individual being released from prison and then returning shortly after. After returning to prison, Adam Gaunt had the opportunity to sign up for an educational program to achieve an associate's degree, which he completed, that later landed him a very successful job as a business analyst. So as you can see in Adam's story, research shows that education reduces recidivism. But in 2012, all of Indiana's prison education programs were cut, leaving 46,060 Indiana inmates without the opportunity to gain an education, to lower their risk for recidivism, and to become contributing members of society. So my name's Caitlin.
I'm John.
I'm Tim.
And I'm Samantha, and today we'll be talking about the lack of education leading to recidivism. 76% of released prisoners will be rearrested within 5 years of their release. This recidivism has big effects on our society. Out of the 46,000 Indiana inmates, 9,500 of them are repeat offenders. You all, as Indiana taxpayers, will have to pay for them. The cost per year per inmate is $18,000. This means that Indiana taxpayers pay a cumulative of $175 million in taxes per year on repeat offenders alone. However, if we reduce recidivism, we can reduce this cost. Statistics show that the #1 way to reduce recidivism is through inmate education. Only 5% of prisoners with a bachelor's degree will ever be rearrested. However, many states, including our own, neglect inmate education. Indiana used to be a leader in inmate education using the Pell Grant to allow inmates and colleges to afford programming. However, this all changed when Indiana residents appealed the Pell Grant for inmates, believing that they were not deserving of an education while serving time. Due to this, dozens of programs closed and now only one remains, which we'll talk about a little bit more in our solution. According to leading experts on inmate education, in order to reduce recidivism and increase educational opportunities, Indiana residents must become aware that inmates are deserving of an education, and there must be more upper-level educational programs put into place.
So our solution is the BARD Inside Out program. BARD University is actually based in New York, but they work with select universities to provide associate's and bachelor's degrees for inmates. And unfortunately, right now, they do not currently have the capacity to take on any more universities or prison systems at this time, but we'd be partnering with them on a more scaled-down version of their current business model. So for our BARD Inside Out program, USI will be connecting with the Indiana Women's Prison due to them just recently receiving a brand new computer lab. We will be creating an online hybrid learning environment for our inmates to obtain our USI Career Ready certificate. Our classes will be held where half the students are inmates and half the students are university students, where they will be completing awareness-based projects such as blog posts and video posts on inmates' rights to really expand on that awareness. Also, research has shown that employers are willing to hire previous prisoners, however, they are not showcasing their skills well enough. Therefore, with our certificate, we will be incorporating writing, communication, and business skills in order to efficiently resolve this issue. So with our solution, inmates will be gaining the education along with the students actually gaining the awareness as to why they're deserving citizens for this education.
So for the primary targets for our program, our primary targets are the inmates at the Indiana Women's Prison, students here at USI, and then the Indiana community in general. Eventually, we would like to expand our program to include all the prisons across Indiana and any other universities that would be willing to participate. For supporting evidence and scalability, we were able to talk with a former Indiana inmate named Brian, who was able to confirm that during his time incarcerated, he did not have access to any post-secondary educational opportunities. We also were able to talk to two leading prison education reform experts, Rebecca Ginsburg and Jessica Neptune. Rebecca has had success reforming the Illinois prison system and spreading awareness via her book deal and her new speaking tour. And then Jessica Neptune is one of the heads of the BARD program that's currently partnered with Notre Dame here in Indiana. The BARD program has had success lowering its participants' recidivism rates all the way down to 2%. So the success of these two individual programs supports the viability of our own, since we'll be drawing on elements from both of them.
So our solution provides a unique service to Indiana inmates and university students. There are currently no services in Indiana that provide both awareness to students and education to inmates. The original BARD program does offer education to inmates, but does not incorporate students and inmates together, so there is no awareness for students. Additionally, they don't help foster community awareness. Our BARD Inside Out program requires students and inmates to complete public accessible in-class projects on inmates' rights in education to help foster community awareness. Lastly, the Bard University doesn't have the funds to expand. Our Bard Inside Out program can expand to any university willing to incorporate inmates into their current courses.
Key to the Bard Inside Out program is our unique business model. Our end goal is to raise enough awareness to convince Indiana residents to advocate for inmates' rights to education and reinstate funding for their programs. Our business model ensures that this happens. We begin with beta testing, as you can see in our key activities and our customer relationships. This is fully funded through Rebecca Ginsburg, who has agreed to give us $100,000 out of her $1 million grant, and the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation grant. This grant Rebecca Ginsburg has previously received for a similar program than ours for $1 million, so we hope to receive the same from them. Our key partners do more than just fund our programs, though. They also provide us with our key activities and our customer segments. USI will be providing us with our online-based content creation through Blackboard. They'll also be providing us with our USI students and our USI professors. The Indiana Women's Prison will be providing us with our inmates. And Bard University will be working with our leadership team to help us develop our degree programs and communicate with our partners. Altogether, these three partners are going to be helping us raise awareness throughout the Indiana community. And as we continue beta testing, we'll be using USI's student, professor, and inmate evaluations to perfect our program. And of course, as we're perfecting our program, we'll still be raising that community awareness. With that increased community awareness, we'll be able to receive more community donations and be able to receive and apply for more grants. With that increased funding, we'll be able to continue to further our degree developments and to increase our partnerships. Our end goal is to raise enough community awareness to apply for the Second Chance Pell Grant. This is a version of the Pell Grant that Indiana previously received for inmates. We previously received $9 million from them, so we hope to eventually get to the point where we can receive $9 million from them as well in this newer version. This will allow us to become completely sustainable. So year after year, we won't have to worry about funding. And then the last piece of our business model is our low cost structure. In our first year, we expect to have about $68,500 in expenses. This includes the 10 inmates taking our courses, our employee salaries, and our additional learning fees, as you can see in our cost structure. This will be completely covered by the $100,000 that Rebecca Ginsburg has agreed to give us. And as our program expands and our expenses increase, the amount of donations and grants that we receive will increase as well, as I said earlier, in our business model. Additionally, it's only about $5,000 to completely certify one inmate in our program. If you compare this to the $18,000 it costs to house an inmate for 1 year, we become socially beneficial to the Indiana taxpayer. So overall, the Bard Inside Out program is a unique, one-of-a-kind solution that benefits inmates, students, and our community. Thank you.